Back on episode 2 of this series, I started building the village I've always wanted, and now it's finally time to finish it. I've got some pretty big plans on how to expand this village and all different kinds of builds to add, so let's get started. So you won't believe it, but I actually did some research for this video. That research included one Google search and clicking the first link to discover some of the actual types of buildings and facilities that were in actual medieval villages, and we're going to be adding a whole heap of them to complete my village over here. But before we can get to that, most of my resources have been completely dried up from the past episode, meaning I'm gonna have to go collect a bunch more resources, including some wood and stone, and probably a bit of deep slate too. So back over here at the mine that we made last episode, I just wanted to quickly check my little resource chest to make sure I didn't leave anything behind. Oh, okay. Oh, we actually have some stuff. All right, well that saves us a bit of time, which is pretty good. But yeah, I'm still gonna need plenty of wood and plenty of stone, so I'm gonna get all of that stuff harvested real quick right now. Okay, I am back. I finally have all the resources. Well, probably gonna have to get a lot more. And well, I have a lot of plans for upgrades for this village, but I do want to start a little bit small, you know, and I just want to get started with a little bit of like a workshop kind of area, maybe right about here. So first off, I'm just gonna clear off a little bit of this dirt here, just so we have a little bit more room. Yeah, something like that is pretty good. Let's get rid of some of these freaking flowers too. And I don't want this to be like an actual building. I'm probably going to, well, not probably, I am going to just make this kind of like an undercover area, as I think that will look quite nice. So we're just going to outline the corners with something like this. Now, as for the roof, I have a crap load of trapdoors and slabs here, and I'm just wanting to add like a simple kind of slab and trapdoor roof, I guess. So we'll have our trapdoors along the sides, and then I'll fill the rest in with slabs like so. And then we have our little undercover area. I'm definitely going to replace all of the blocks here with, I kind of want gravel actually. I feel like gravel will be a nice like kind of floor block. So I'm gonna have to go harvest some of that by hand, because having fortune on a shovel, it's actually kind of annoying for getting gravel, because you literally only get flint. And the annoying thing is all of this is underwater too, so it's gonna be even more annoying. But yeah, see, you literally just get flint every single time. So give me like 5 minutes and I'll hopefully get enough gravel for the floor. All right, that shit was just way too painful, so I'm just gonna texture it in with some stone. I feel like that's gonna look better anyway. Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty nice. Now I want to add in some decorations and stuff under here, for which I already have a few gathered. Like I want to use some polished andesite for like some tables here, and then I might set up like a little bit of a furnace kind of area there. I do want some anvils kind of spread across throughout here like that. Then some extra little decorations. We could add some campfires kind of just strewn across here as if like they're kind of firewood for these furnaces. Maybe get a crafting table, maybe add it over here. And I mean, what is a work area without some chests and bloody barrels as well, of course. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. I like that. We'll get some lanterns added in here too, and bang, there we go. There's our little workshop area looking awesome. And just off to the side of this, I do want to add in a little bit of a well as well. And so I think for this, I can kind of just go with a design kind of like this, because yeah, a lot of medieval like cities and villages, of course, had wells for their water supply, of course. I feel like it's kind of silly to have a village without one. So there we have our pillars established. I need to go grab a little bit of deep slate for the roof here, and we can get something a little bit like this going. Actually, what is my kind of roof layout for these buildings? I kind of want to follow that. So we have a wood trim, not deep slate trim. I'm a bit of an idiot, eh? So I really like this kind of roof design for wells, where we have the kind of, I don't know how to freaking explain it, man, but like it's not just a straight line for the trim here. It goes in and then out and then back in at the front. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll just put some slabs on these blocks and then fill the rest of the roof up with some deep slate like so. And then just cap it off with some slabs up at the top, and we'll see how that looks from afar. Yeah, it's not too bad. It definitely does look kind of weird. That's all right, actually, from this angle. That's fine. Down below here, we'll get some fence gates in between all of these like that. And then down in here is where, you know, we'll add the actual well stuff. And then we'll fill this bad boy up with a little bit of water. Then we can add some chains hanging from the top here down into a simple little cauldron and fill that up with some water. And there we go. We have our little like bucket that, you know, you winch down to collect water and stuff. And there we go. That's it. A simple little well design, nice and easy, and looks good as well. All right. So with the first two simple little additions made, it's time to move on to something a little bit bigger. And I'm planning on having this over on the left side of the village over here, kind of in this little valley in between the, you know, the little hills here. And actually right here on this mound of grass, I'm thinking a nice mine entrance would work perfectly. And out here we can have like a crane and a bunch of cool little decorations and details. I know I built a mine in the last bloody episode, and the episode before that I built a mining tower, but you know, this village needs a mine too, and I love building mines, so shut the bloody hell up, okay? So I'll build this one as a nice little time lapse. Yeah, so let's just get straight into it. Alright, first and foremost, I got to excavating out our mine entrance, as I did need a bit of cobblestone, which I used in making our entrance feel a bit more like a chunk of rock that was mined out. I then used the rest of that cobblestone along with some stone to add in a big foundation for the mine. After that, it was onto, of course, a big old crane that would theoretically be used to move stuff around and onto carts and such. Finishing up, I slightly expanded the area for the mine along with adding plenty of piles of cobble and andesite along with some barrels and chests. Okay, and there is the mine all completed and looking beautiful. Dude, all of these extra little details really just help pull it together so much, especially the mine carts and the minecart rails. Like, dude, it looks so much better with all of them. Here's a look from the ortho camera mod perspective. So yeah, if you couldn't tell already, I'm kind of building like just an extra ring of details around the village. Starting at the front there, now we've gone up to the left, and now it's time to move up to the kind of back area of the village, where I want to add a bunch of different specialized kind of buildings. And so that next one, which is going to be just kind of above the mine here, kind of around in this area, is going to be the blacksmith. I'm gonna have to clear a bunch of trees, and the cool thing is I also want a little bit of a crop field kind of right beside this as well, and I want it to sprawl all the way up around here in front of the mine, which I think is gonna look really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of landscape flattening here, because right now this is pretty hilly and not very workable at the moment. So I might take off this layer of dirt and then just kind of smoothen everything off to get a nice kind of flat area to work on. So just give me a minute and I'll get this all done. All right, so here is our new area, and for this blacksmith, I actually went and found this really cool reference picture. Like, dude, this thing, holy crap, looks freaking awesome, and I pretty much want to try and just recreate this in Minecraft. So let's get started on the positioning, which I'm thinking maybe about here is going to be perfect. Oh, you know what? We're just gonna make this thing freaking big, okay? I was gonna do 3 blocks in between, but we're going with bloody 5, okay? And then we're gonna go something like that. Dude, this thing... okay, this is gonna be way bigger than I thought it was, but oh well, who freaking cares? It's gonna look awesome. And yeah, dude, I love planning out buildings like this. I mean, you guys... if you've watched any of my videos, you know I plan all of my buildings like this. I don't use wall or any of that crap. We just use the pillars. That way you don't have to go back and remove crap afterwards. You know, like, it's easy enough to remove some, like, pillars and just replace them wherever you want. But I mean, once you've gotten the layout perfect, you can just expand those pillars up when you need to. So this first floor here is actually going to have stone walls with wooden pillars. Usually I just do fully stone. But in our reference picture, we have those wood pillars running, you know, alongside the stone there. And I think that is actually going to look really cool once we get that fully added in. So that's going to be the height there for the first floor. Actually, once we add these pillars in, I don't know, I feel like this might be too short for the first floor. Yeah, it looks a bit weird how short this is compared to the width. So I think we're going to extend these pillars up 1 block higher, just so it doesn't look weird. And at the same time, I will work on adding these pillars along the tops as well. And adding these pillars like kind of along the top just helps kind of separate that second floor from the first floor, and just makes it a bit easier to tell between them, you know? Also, even though it's not really on the reference, I love adding my little sticky outy bits. It just makes it so easy to add details to these pillars. Like, you can have stairs there, trapdoor underneath, or you can have fences, or, you know, any combination of that kind of stuff. But yeah, as for our windows and walls here, I have some oak fences and some stone bricks and stone, and we're just going to pretty much be using all of this for our windows and such. And so we'll do something like this, where we have 2 separated windows like so. Yeah, there we go. There's our wall design looking pretty good. Actually, I just realized this is where our staircase is going to be, so we're not going to have any goddamn windows here. So we'll get this bad boy filled up completely, and then this is where we're actually going to be starting our staircase up, which I think might even start in line with our pillar here. Let's get back to the walls here. Where we have our 3 block wide walls, we'll obviously just do 1 window like so, and then I think here we'll have our doorway. Oh, of course I forgot my freaking door, man. God damn it. All right, there we go. That is beautiful. And now over on this wall here, we'll actually have our little furnace kind of thing sticking out, and I think, yeah, dude, this is going to turn out pretty cool. So we'll have our wall actually stick out a little something like this, and then I gotta figure out how to add a roof onto there, and then this opening here will have our actual furnace that we'll be using, or, you know, theoretically using to smelt stuff with. So we'll leave a nice curved kind of opening like that for our furnace. And I'm gonna quickly hit the bloody hay. We actually do have a balcony that kind of sticks out from this spot here, so I kind of need to figure out how to add that on. The roof will be pretty similar to our other buildings here, because I don't want to kind of do anything too different or it'll look a bit out of place. So yeah, what I think I'll do now is just finish this off with another bit of a time lapse, starting right now. Alright, so first off I got the external smelter thing all built. It ended up looking a bit weird, but moving on to the rest of the blacksmith building, I continued expanding the foundation upwards along with getting the diorite walls added in with some glass pane windows for fanciness. I added the balcony onto this side of the building and then finished off all of the extra details that were needed along the pillars. Once that was done, I moved straight up to the roof, making sure to repeat a similar design to the rest of the village so it didn't look too out of place or anything. With the roof completed, I headed back down to finish off the bottom floor walls that I'd kind of forgotten about, along with filling in the staircase and the ceiling for the second floor. Alright, now it is time to tackle the interior, of which I'm going to want a little bit of lava for, and man, I forgot how freaking cool this place is. This is my lava dripstone farm, and all the rest of my super aesthetic farms. Dude, I love this place, man. And I'm just gonna collect a couple of buckets of lava, and let's head back on over. Alright, we are back at the blacksmith. Let's head on inside, and yeah, with this lava, I actually want to add it right along here, just before I get a couple of pieces of stone added in, like a lava smelting thing for inside and outside, which is, yeah, pretty cool. Back on the outside here, we could add maybe like a little bit of an outdoor area, just something like this, and maybe a cauldron with some water. I need to go get some bloody water. Give me a second. There we go. Now we have like a little outdoor workstation. Super cute. Let's head back on inside and just kind of decorate the crap out of this area in here. So down here is going to kind of be like the workshop, I guess. So I think what I want to do, maybe right in front of our smithing kind of like lava station thing, I'll get a bunch of anvils, kind of, how do I want to lay these out? We might just get 2 like that, and then we'll have our dunking buckets here. Let's fill these bad boys up with some water like that. Yeah, that's a cool little area there. We'll definitely get some lanterns hanging up in here, because cool bloody blimey is it dark in here. There we go, that's much better. And now over off to the left side here, we can just have like a massive like workbench kind of area. Maybe get an extra anvil placed in here, maybe like some chests and barrels off to this side, just a little something like that. We could even maybe just have some barrels hanging up on this kind of area as well, just something like that. I've also got a couple of armor stands. We could add some maybe like, I don't know, maybe over here. Maybe we could have one off in this corner like that. Actually, that looks kind of weird. Now, some extinguished campfires are always in order, okay? Great bloody little details those bastards are. And yeah, that's a pretty cute little simple blacksmith interior. I'm liking that, pretty cool. And now upstairs is going to be like the living quarters, of course. So, well, I'm gonna have to go get a couple of beds and a bunch more decorations. So give me a second, I'll meet you guys back here. All right, so I'm back, and up here I'm thinking a little bit of a ceiling kind of like this is going to look super nice. We'll add some extra beams in there and then kind of just fill these gaps in here. Yeah, dude, that is looking so much better. We can slap some lanterns on there too. Bang, dude. Look at that, so much better. Now, I did get a bunch of beds, of course, so let's add those in. I'm thinking above the bed here, just the classic bloody stack of barrels like this. Now, I've got a couple of composters and some leaves to add some indoor house plants like that. I do have a couple of carpets too, so we can add some in the middle of the house, kind of like that. And now, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of all I've prepared in terms of details, other than just the classic barrels and bloody chests. Yeah, okay. That's good enough for me. And yeah, that's pretty much the blacksmith done. I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. Dude, that looks awesome up in the left corner over there, dude. Yes, bloody beautiful. All right, next up on my big stinking list of, well, realistic buildings that should be in, like, you know, medieval cities and stuff is an inn, of course. You know, people love to drink. I don't really drink, you know. I'll sink a couple apple ciders here and there, but that's about it for me. You know, I'm sure back in bloody medieval times when there wasn't really anything better to do, people would just bloody drink. So it's time to get a big old inn built here. I'm thinking kind of like bang, 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 something like that. So yeah, I'm going to use the ortho camera mod here to get the positioning kind of perfect, like, you know, exactly where I'm wanting it. And yeah, so this building is going to be probably pretty similar to the blacksmith here. I'm going to do 2 stories once again. I'll do stone on the bottom, diorite on the top. You know, very similar. So we'll get this built as another real quick time lapse right now. First up, of course, the pillars, which ended up needing 2 trips to the bloody tree farm, but once they were all added in, it was time to add in the staircase and the stone walls for the bottom floor, along with the diorite ones for the top floor. I also added in the entrance for the bottom floor and then moved straight up to the roof, again using the same design as the town, just in a much wider shape to account for the width of the building. I also added in plenty of dormers to keep the roof looking interesting too. Finishing up, I just added all the details under the pillars. Alright, now with the exterior of the inn completed, I want to head on inside down to the bottom floor here, and honestly, down here, I had no idea what I want to add. Probably just a whole bunch of freaking storage barrels and crap everywhere. So yeah, I think that's just gonna about do it. Yeah, I don't really know what else to add down here. So let's head up to the second floor where I do know exactly what I want to add in. So off to the right here, let's add in our actual like little bartender area thingamajig, you know what I'm trying to say? So that's our little access point here, and then we'll have our, you know, our table thing. I've gotten some tripwire hooks and some barrels so that they can kind of serve up some booze, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Now let's get some tables and chairs strewn across, you know, kind of this area. Bang, bang, there we go. So there's a nice little kind of sitting area. And now back here, I'm thinking I want to add in 2 little rooms. I'm pretty sure it's inns that have rooms usually, you know? I can't remember if it's an inn or a... I don't know what the other one's called. I think it's like a pub or something maybe. But, well, the one in our village at least does have some rooms in it. They're quite cozy rooms, so don't bloody worry about that. So they will be quite cheap. And in here we can just get like a little bit of storage and some random stuff, maybe a lantern as well. And I'll just repeat that same thing over on this side. Bang, there we go. So there is our inn interior, looking quite nice and fancy. I really do like that. And let's take a look with the ortho camera mod, and dude, this is looking so good. Our little expansion is coming along so nicely. But now it is time for the next build, which is going to go right beside this inn over here. And a lot of things that a lot of medieval villages actually have is a bit of a windmill to grind up the grain and stuff that they'd be harvesting. I was going to make one out of granite, but I might actually just look up some medieval windmills for some inspiration to try and get something a little bit more realistic. Okay, after doing a little bit of research, it turns out there's a couple of different types of windmills, like a post mill, a smock mill. The one we're going to be making right now is called a tower mill, which looks a little bit like this. So I'm going to be making the body out of granite and bricks, which is pretty much exactly what I actually wanted to do originally anyway. I'm just going to modify the design slightly by adding a nice cute little diorite roof on top. I think that's going to look quite nice. So let's first figure out the position using the ortho camera mod. I'm thinking right smack bang here is going to be bloody perfect. Might do something like this because I do want it to get... Oh, of course, here's the bloody rain. I want it to just get a tiny bit smaller as we go kind of up a bit higher, you know? And yeah, let's pretty much just get started with another bloody time lapse right now. What I ended up doing first was moving the entire build back a couple of blocks just because I felt it was a bit too close to the houses. I then just continued raising the base up, adding in our stair windows along the way until finally reaching the top where I added on our diorite and deep slate roof. Once I'd gotten that completed, it was time for the final piece, the windmill sail, of which I struggled with a bit. I changed between fences and wall and diorite stairs until settling on diorite walls, and yeah, I definitely made a few swastikas along the way. Okay, and now as for our interior, we're of course going to need a door, so let's slap that on. I'm going to replace all of the ground here with some oak slabs, so just give me a moment. All right, there we go. Next, what I want to do is grab some oak fences and just kind of bring them all the way down, as if that's our like kind of shaft that's being turned by the, you know, the sail. You know what I'm trying to say? Let's bring this all the way down to the bottom right here, and then I kind of just want to add like a little bucket kind of circular thing around this that you would theoretically put your grain into, or to put your wheat into to turn into, you know, flour or whatever. I don't know how this shit works, man. Just fucking just go with it, all right? In here, we'll get, you know, a couple of chests, a couple of barrels. Maybe off on this side, we could get some hay bales, just something like that, you know, nothing too crazy. And bang, that's the interior done. As for the outside, I definitely do want to add a couple of little details like some hay bales. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm happy with our little windmill here. Turned out pretty nice. Let's take a look once again with the ortho camera mod, and yeah, dude. I wish I could get those sails angled without it looking like a swastika, but it's really hard to do that, so it's time to just bloody move on to the next build, which is going to be a church. I don't think I've ever built a church in survival. I think I've made like maybe 2 in my life, and I want to make like kind of a smaller style church. Because yeah, surprisingly, medieval villages pretty much always have bloody churches in them. So I'm going to go look up some more references to help me, because I'm definitely going to need it. So yeah, give me a second. Okay, so here's the reference that I ended up finding. I'm going to change it up actually quite a bit because yeah, this thing is pretty massive, and I'm wanting something a little bit more kind of quaint, I guess, because we don't really have a lot of room back here. Well, for at least the frame that I kind of want for this, you know, this village, I guess. I don't know. I'm also going to change that front tower up quite a bit as well and just kind of make it my own. So yeah, first of which I need to fill in this big old stinking gap here, which unfortunately I think I've run out of dirt. I'm gonna have to go back to the frickin' goddamn chest. Give me a second. Yeah, I'll go get that. I'll fill all this in and we'll get started. Okay, so here is the area that we have to work with. So as you can see, it's not going to be too extravagant, okay? The front entrance is gonna go right about here. This is going to be our tower, of which I'm going to make a simple little 3x3 shape, with the the entrance to the church actually being right in the middle of it as well. And now the church is actually going to start like kind of in between this. So we're going to do something like that. So the church is actually going to be 7 blocks wide in total. And I want this whole thing to just be completely textured with stone and stone bricks. And actually I'm thinking maybe at least some corner pillars of polished andesite will look quite nice. So let me go grab some real quick. All right, I am back with some polished andesite. And yeah, I definitely think that is going to be a nice little corner block there. Now for the windows, I do want to try something kind of cool and mimic like the reference a little bit more here. We could get something like this going, and then, well, actually we might even start it here. We can get like some stairs on these blocks. We will just continue these ones up like normal. And then what I want to try doing is actually insetting these windows. And let's get our windows there and see how that looks. Yeah, that's cool. I like those like inset windows. Definitely does look weird in here, but I mean, we could try and find some cool stuff to put in between those spots. All right, what I think I'm going to do now is just continue the rest of this build as a nice little time lapse. So let's get bloody started. Continuing on with the walls, I just repeated that same window design, which looking from this angle actually looks pretty cool and a lot like a church with those big inset windows. With those windows done, I extended the front tower up a bit higher and got started on the roof, opting for some andesite stairs in line with the pillars and filling the rest with granite. After adding a cute little cross, I continued extending up the front tower along with adding some crenellations on top. Alright, there is the exterior of the church done. Once again, here's a look with the ortho camera mod. I think it turned out very nice, pretty much exactly how I wanted it. So now it is time to head on inside, of course. Alright, now as for decorating in here, I was thinking that these cool little like nooks here could make like some awesome little looking, you know, confession booth things, I guess. Yeah, I just thought that'd be kind of cool. So I'll just get these doors. Actually, I won't add them on back here because what I want to do back here is add in like a stage where the pastor or whatever would talk on. Forgive me for not knowing like, you know, church terms, okay? I'm sorry, but yeah. So here's his little thing that he reads off of. Back up here, I definitely feel like there would be a bit of a cross going on. So let's get one of those slapped in. Yeah, that actually looks really cool. Just for a little bit of decoration, we'll get some trapdoors kind of lined along here, I guess. And then pretty much I just want to fill out the rest of this area with some chairs. Yeah, there we have a cute little church interior. Let's head back out and get started on the next build. All right, so next on my list is going to be a bit of a communal kitchen. And I actually found this reference image here, which, dude, has just sparked so many like ideas in my head, and I think this is going to look really cool. So I've just kind of flattened off this area up over here, and I think this is going to be the perfect spot for it. There we go. And then kind of off to the side here is where we will have that big kind of oven thing, which I think is going to turn out really cool. And then I'm just going to build this house kind of like the rest. I don't know, that's going to look a bit weird. Okay, we're going to have to make it 1 block higher. Just give me a second, I'll get this frame built. Okay, there is the frame for our communal kitchen. What I'm going to do next is get all of the walls established, of course, just out of stone, kind of, yeah, pretty much mimicking these exact houses. I reckon we'll have the entrance right over here. So just let me quickly get these added in and I'll be right back. All right, now what I'm actually going to do, yeah, so I left this kind of like curve open thing here, which I think would look pretty cool. And what I'm actually going to do is continue the frame all the way out this way, kind of like in the reference. And I'll actually make the roof extend over this entire like building here. So we'll get that connected up. I'll leave all of this open and then we will get a roof built on top. I'm pretty much just going to make this exact same roof, so I'm not even going to bother with a time lapse. So give me a second, I'll get this done. All right, so there is our building complete and looking good. I got a big stinking chimney up there too, which is going to be for our big stinking oven that's going to be right here. And so my idea on how to build this is going to revolve around kind of, you know, various blocks of granite and, yeah, stuff like that. So basically we're going to start off with a bit of a shape like that. Again, looking at the reference, what I might do is actually make this just connect up to the ground normally. So we'll do something like that. I'll extend this up another block here and add on a bunch of stairs kind of circling around like this. There we go. And that is pretty much our oven right there. What I can do is now remove probably this side and maybe this side. We'll add in some stairs kind of like this. I think that'll look quite nice there. And then we can add in a campfire right here. There we go. So that's our little oven cooking away there. You know, theoretically that smoke is going up into that chimney. Yeah, don't worry about it. Now for this interior, I am going to replace the ground here, probably with some, well, probably stone actually. Just give me a second, I'll get that done. All right, now what I've just gone and done is mined a bunch of cobblestone to make some more furnaces and a little bit more granite as well for our next project. And I actually just realized that under here, we have some coal, which is actually gonna be very useful for our next project as well. So I'm going to quickly mine all of this up, so just give me a second. Okay, and in here, I think we would definitely have, yeah, a lot of furnaces in here, along with a couple of workbenches like this. There would probably be a bunch of extinguished campfires, like, you know, just logs and stuff in here as well. And there we go. That is the perfect little communal kitchen there with this like awesome little oven design. I just love that, dude. Like, I never would have thought to add that if I hadn't been looking for like some references. So, yeah, I definitely highly encourage using references to, you know, just find ideas and stuff like that, because yeah, sometimes it is kind of hard to come up with ideas by yourself. You know, even for someone who plays Minecraft basically every day like me, there's no bloody shame in using reference images, okay? Yeah, I just felt adding this little arch kind of thing here would look nice. We can get a lantern on there too, and bang, there is our communal kitchen, fully completed and looking absolutely beautiful. All right, now next up on my list is something called some charcoal burners. You know, if you're an avid primitive technology enjoyer like I am, you would know that to get some, you know, hotter kind of fires, you need charcoal as the fuel instead of just plain old stinking wood. And one of the easiest ways to make charcoal is to just put a bunch of logs into like a mound of clay or dirt or something like that. So we're going to be mimicking that here with our bricks, granite, and polished granite. And you basically just make them into these big kind of mounds. So I'm going to be making these kind of maybe in this shape. No, they are a bit big, but you know, they were pretty bloody big. You want them to be big to be efficient. There we go. Something like that I think is going to be pretty good. We might make maybe 3 or 4. So these are kind of like dome shaped, I guess. And yeah, so I feel like having this right next to the communal kitchen is kind of the perfect spot, because that is where a lot of the fuel might be used. Yeah, so I think that's going to be a good height. Now we might just transition into some stairs here. All right, and then to cap it off, we will just add in a bunch of slabs along the top here. And there we go. There we have our first charcoal burner giant mound thing. I thought I was going to have a use for these blocks of coal, but yeah, I mean, you're not really going to be able to bloody see them in there. So I might just turn these back to coal and use them for, you know, more campfires and stuff like that. But I do need to go get a bunch more bricks and granite to continue building these. So give me a second and I'll go get those, and we'll start building the rest as a time lapse right now. Okay, and that just about completes pretty much the last build I actually wanted to get done for our village here. Here's how we're looking from afar. Dude, this place is looking so good. But yeah, so that actually leads me on to the final things that I just kind of want to polish off. So in between here and the pathway, I want to add a little bit of a crop farm. We also have another one that I mentioned earlier that I want to add in between the blacksmith and the mine up over there. Yeah, so kind of up in this area, just like a little bit of a... Actually, we don't really have much room for one, do we? Okay, we might actually just get one added in, maybe like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. But yeah, also another thing is we don't have any pathways connecting this up to like the rest of the village. You know, the inn, no bloody pathways. None of this has pathways. So I'm gonna get one big stinking time lapse done, where I'm gonna get all of that stuff done, connecting all of the pathways up and adding in a couple extra little farms here and there. So yeah, let's get to it. For the first set of pathways, I connected the existing one up towards the inn, and then from the inn over to the blacksmith. I also added a quaint little wheat farm here too. From the inn, I branched that path over to the windmill and connected it back to the main path, along with adding another one for the church. Over here at the charcoal mounds, I opted to add a big path here instead of the carrot field I'd planned. I did, however, end up planting a cute little field between the kitchen and the church, consisting of both wheat and carrots. I added another very small patch of carrots in this spot between the church and windmill, and just because I couldn't help myself, I added another little field over here by the inn and blacksmith. Alright, and there we have it. That is just about going to conclude everything I wanted to add to my village to make it the village I've always wanted. This thing turned out freaking amazing, dude. I'm actually super surprised with how well this has come out, man. And so if you want to watch me build the city I've always wanted in creative mode, be sure to check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.